All right, glad to have you back there. Nigeria's digital transformations market is projected to reach $22.82 billion by 2029, driven by AI, IoT, and, of course, a robust ICT adoption. AI alone could contribute $15 billion to Nigeria's GDP by 2030. And AI-enabled startups in Nigeria attracted $2.9 million in investments in 2023, with Fintech, e-health, and smart agriculture leading the charge. With over 60% of Nigeria's population under 25, AI offers opportunities for upskilling, entrepreneurship, job creation, positioning youths as leaders in digital economy. Today, we have with us Dr. Dittimi, a renowned technology advocate with over 15 years in product development and management expertise. He joins me live from Canada. Good afternoon. It's good to have you on the program.
Good afternoon, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's morning over there. Thank you for your time, really. And let me ask you, let's start our conversation this way, that how can Nigeria realistically transition from an oil-dependent economy to one powered by technology, including tapping into the current AI revolution?
Yeah, so Nigeria's economy has been deeply tied to oil, but with the global shifts toward renewable energy and also technology-driven growth, there's an urgent need for us to start rethinking our national revenue streams. For example, artificial intelligence presents a major opportunity. We're seeing how other countries are taking advantage of it. And with Nigeria having a young population of an average age of 18 years old, digital adaptation for our population will be key and will be a key driver for us to be able to expand other sources of revenue. And AI can provide not just a sustainable place, an opportunity, but also a knowledgeable base for our economy. And the key enablers that we have to start looking at. One of them is digital infrastructure. How do we make sure that the internet, access to digital information are accessible, education, upskilling, and even a national AI strategy that will encourage local companies and also international partners to be able to come and invest in Africa and strategically with Nigeria, because we are the leading driver in terms of population. For example, looking at the India IT sector, they've been able to, and they're estimated to generate over 280 billion in 2025. And by next year, they're going to be hitting 300 billion, which is proof that tech can lead. And that's generating almost about 8% of their GDP for this year. And we can also look at the UAE that started off as us being very reliant on oil. But if you look at now, their GDP, 75% of it comes from non-oil focused areas like technology and many other diversification policies that they put in place to power their economy, where they are not just dependent on natural resources, but they are building solutions that are reliant on data so that they can harness this to be able to grow their economy.
Now, what sectors in Nigeria are ripe for disruption through artificial intelligence?
So there's several sectors that we're seeing that are at a tipping point with AI. And one of the biggest sectors is agriculture. Over 35% of Nigeria's labor force today is already in that sector. So how do we bring in certain approaches or setting methodologies that will help us be able to improve them? For example, predicting yield. Well, we want to be food reliant as a country. So we want to probably be able to detect diseases early so that we can make data-driven decisions that will help us improve our food security. You can also look at the financial sector, like you mentioned, especially the fintech, where we're already using fraud AI system, a fraud detection system, credit scoring processing, even loan automations and personalized financial services. And now with the new Nigeria's open banking framework that we're looking to launch this year, there's even greater potential for a lot of AI-powered platforms. We can look at the healthcare, where people can now access doctors and all of that remotely within the Nigeria sector. And this will be very useful for under-resourced areas or even rural areas. And over the logistics sectors, where we want to be able to move things or plan and fleet management across populated cities and even rural areas. And one area we're passionate with, which is the edX sector, which is we need to be able to educate the next set of generations and also build the capability for them to be able to compete by ensuring that they have the digital skill set in the different areas which F&F Consultancy is pushing and being a pioneer in, to help to fix that gap where we're providing this knowledge based to a younger population. We're providing an AI education technology-based approach to learning so that people can not just get strategic investment internationally, but also partner with local bodies, the public sector, the private sector, to ensure that we democratize education within the tech sector and using AI as a tool to expand that knowledge.
Now, what role now can local startups and tech talents play in shaping AI-driven Nigeria's economy?
So local startup will play a critical role because one thing about technology is that without that cultural relevant solutions, it's not going to work because we have to look at our market. We have to understand the sector that we have to understand the cities, people's pain points, people's issues, the key things that they want solved so that we can not just take the technology, but localize it to give the appropriate tools and platforms to help us. We're already seeing that uh, within the education sector in Nigeria alone, we're having over 500,000 graduates annually, and many of them are already in the STEM focus. So how do we ensure that we are building homegrown startups that we're able to use this foreign technology or even adapt them to our local capacity and also the local issues that we face. Also, building our own grown talents within the AI space, like data scientists, machine learning experts, and even AI researchers. And we're seeing that there's some accelerators are funded and even international exposure that will be coming from this, as every country now is looking towards building their competitiveness in this area. For example, we can look back at the Indian model again and see how their tech sector is contributing significantly to their GDP because they invested in local partnership. And Philippines is another country that is pushing in this sector, which is ensuring that they build the local sector, startups, incubators, and even programs to encourage and partner with both foreign and local investors to ensure that we are building as competence because we already have the population, we already have the literacy rate. It's just about ensuring that we build that understanding and build that bridge to connect us to the rest of the world so that we cannot just be exporting other things, but we can export talent locally, like India, Philippines are doing, and helping to power their economies and generate revenue for their countries.
Mm. Well, with high unemployment rates across the country, my next question truly would be, how can Nigerians leverage the digital economy to get legitimate remote jobs that will help our young people earning dollars and other desirable foreign currencies, of course, while living in Nigeria?
So so for this, when we talk about unemployment and underemployment and having a good population or under 25 years, we're already at that precipice where we have a set of population and youths that are easily able to migrate in terms of knowledge base and move into other sectors. And that's where AI has become a deeply embedded approach that economies and countries are using. For example, is to make sure that people across different regions, even economic classes, and even genders can access this education and tools needed to participate. Also, language barriers. We're seeing that a lot of startups that are even localizing these tools so that conversations and interpretations can be done in our own local context. Of course, electricity constraints. How do we invest in other renewable energy sectors to help to be able to ensure that people are able to access or come online as the and then digital literacy is also a gap that we have to start looking at because education is different for digital. We want to make sure that people understand the tools, understand the processes, understand how they can add value in the digital economy. All the key things we teach with our programs to make you understand that people pay for value, not for action. So how do we find areas within the digital economy in different fields and also use AI to be able to localize it, but ensure that there's that cultural awareness of how we do that and keep encouraging and ensuring that both within the private sector and the public sector, there's the needed partnerships and there's the needed knowledge and the needed skill set to ensure that we can be competitive with other countries that are exporting their knowledge.
What now are the policy and regulatory frameworks needed to support ethical AI adoption in Nigeria?
Just like any new industry, AI will need to have some ethical guardrails because as much as it can do good, there are also people that are looking to exploit it for something else. So Nigeria must prioritize creating strong policies that will govern how data is collected, how data are stored, and even how data are used. And this needs to be transparent, that people will understand the process, the fairness, and even the accountability of how this is embedded in our AI system. And also, especially within the public services, how do we utilize government bodies like NIDA, NCCA, and even NDPR for data privacy to collaborate with tech players, academias, and even civil societies to create a national AI ethics framework. Because at the same time, this regulation will encourage us to be innovative, but we also want to be careful of ensuring that we do not stifle creativity by not including the private sector, including innovators, including academia, because we want to ensure that even though we are controlling it, we want to ensure that creativity is still allowed. Because if Nigeria does not align with the global AI standard to ensure that we have a system that is competitive, that can interoperate with AI systems from other countries and also digital products from other countries, then it's going to be hard for our solutions to be respected globally and be able to compete in the global world of technology.
Now, what bold moves will Nigeria also make now to become a leader in Africa's AI-driven future?
So Nigeria is already doing a lot of pilot projects, but we need to move to policies that would push us to become a key player in this sector,
Great.
that are scalable. And this will include us, for example, launching an AI development roadmap. We cleared goals and timelines, and I'm seeing that there are a lot of things. The minister in the IT space in Nigeria is already having conversations with AI experts. But we could go further to actually even focus on curriculums in universities, in vocational schools, and even incentivize AI research and development up so that we can invest in not just the compute in the technology space of AI, but even the infrastructure like cloud services, supercomputing assets, so that we can have a foundation for innovation. And it is very important because Nigerians need to actively attract foreign AI investors that already started building this capacity, while we also promote our local champions that are already pushing this so that we can lead Africa in the AI conversation. We can't forget that Africa is projected to hit 2.5 billion people by 2050, and Nigeria is still the most populous country on the continent. And we have to be responsible, and we have to take this opportunity and lead, because like we're seeing with the UAE, with their national strategy, that has used a lot of strong returns, and seeing that their economy is now 75% away from oil, even though they started as oil and also have been investing in other areas. And technology is one of the key areas that can help us to expatiate on this. And also, AI is actually an easy democratic tool that has been provided to everybody right now. So we do not need to spend a lot of money building infrastructure. We just need to leverage it. We just need to make sure that we're making bold moves in terms of investment in the private sector, in the public sector, to encourage and partner and also create the needed environment for people that are interested to expand these areas to come invest in it, and also have the local economy and cultural relevance put in place to ensure that this is sustainable in Africa and Nigeria as a country.
Dr. Dittimi, Principal Consultant, FNF Consultancy, thank you so much for your brilliant contributions to the show regards to the topic of discourse. We appreciate your time. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.